Session 1. Absolum is the most fun I've had in a roguelite. Starting Absolum not only made me realize more what I think I need when it comes to roguelites, but I think it also made me understand more why even though I could tell Hades was a great game, I just didn't think it was for me. Absolum's story isn't a groundbreaking one so far, but I think the narrative design is quite strong. Its intersection with the beat-em-up genre had me thinking story beats would be quite bare, but there's actually a lot going on here that feels organic. While it's certainly true more happened because this is my first session with the game, I think it's a little more deliberate than that. The choice to not procedurally generate rooms like Hades allows for some more linearity to be interjected and create tighter story pacing in Absolum, even if it's at the cost of some gameplay variance. Despite the wealth of dialogue in Hades, it felt like not a lot of actual events transpired through my eventual 10 successful runs. And reason number 2, playing this with a friend. Playing co-op games can make failures hurt a lot less because it's easier to see value in the experience itself. I had a lot of laughs in my time playing this session, and I'm sure those will continue. Not to mention the difficulty feels a lot more manageable when you have a friend by your side that can resurrect you. While my thoughts here are obviously based off of a single session, I have a feeling the mix of factors here in Absolum will keep hitting for me as a great combo of beat 'em up and roguelite. Session 2. Last level in the second session? Tonight, we already got to the final level thanks to a broken ability on my friend's character. I feel like I was getting into a better groove with Galandra's overall kit, and it was funny too because we unlocked Brome in the same run, but with so much time in between that and where the run actually ended, when we got back to the base, it was like, alright, you're here. I feel like my worry about variance has mostly been quashed. There's a lot of ways where the game riffs on existing rooms, so you don't feel like it's the same path over and over. Menus only being accessible to one player at a time does seem a bit clunky, but overall this feels like a very polished game presentation wise. Training range has been a fun way to spend 20 minutes doing 1v1 sessions, and we also found a secret area beneath us in the main hub which has a bunch of relics to use. Looks like a thing to explore more after we've fully completed our skill tree. Session 3. Absolum continues to feel novel. This session continued to confirm for me that Absolum is a roguelite I can play quite a lot without it really feeling stale. New paths and worlds continued to be open despite us not even getting to Asterios again. And I like having quests attached with these, so when we enter new areas, there's a purpose with it beyond the exploration itself. Gameplay feels like it's clicking pretty well for me at this point. Brome was fun to use for the first couple of runs of the night before switching back to Galandra. I think I'm getting the hang of clashing a bit more, and we're also getting close to maxing out the skill tree at this point, so being able to ult multiple times per run going forward will definitely make things easier. I feel like we'll be able to have a complete run the next session or the one after that, and then I'm curious if there's anything else afterwards like Hades, or if the game just reaches a natural conclusion with one clear. Either way, I feel very confident at this point that Absolum was a good pick for me, not only as a game to play with my friend, but also one that taught me how to get into a roguelite more. Session 4. I finished the game, but want more. We finished a successful run tonight, but for once in a roguelite, I want to keep playing to explore optional content. I think we ended up going against a super boss with the interloper here before even beating Azra, so Azra himself almost seemed like a pushover comparatively. His shtick of using all the powers you've gotten on the run is very neat, and I'm finding Necromancy to be my favorite ritual to spec into. Reaper Cyclone feels like the best arcana for Galandra, but thanks to the quest we finished last session, we now get 2 of these per run after defeating the Underking. I think next on our list is finishing with the other 2 characters of Cider and Brome, and seeing what other paths Absolum will open up to us, whether unintentionally or not. Session 5. New avenues opened. After defeating Azra last time, there was some new unlocks like the Ritual of Time, which felt rather strong, and explaining further what happens to our characters each time a run ends. This second one really felt like a nice touch for me because it also gave us some deeper meaning behind here's a new cosmetic. But this session also had us fighting Zafari to steal her gold, which wasn't a terribly difficult boss, and ironically allowed us to use some of that same gold to even still recruit her afterwards. The whole loop here is honestly a little bonkers, but hey, her power level is nuts, so I'm not complaining. Session 6. A bit of a wall, but still a good time. Not much to report here, as it was all failed attempts on Absolum, the Interloper, and even Azra at one point. New things still came up, like the Untaken Path in Jaroba, for a new boss, and even smaller realizations like we wouldn't be able to fight Safari every run for her hoard of gold. We came out of this session feeling like we should do a bit of research next time on what strategies work well against Absolum to get the true ending. Session 7. A frog and a drill. Tonight's session started with getting our cheeks clapped in a corrupted path through the forest, but by the last run of the session, we were pulling the Uno reverse card. Both the Interloper and Absolum met their doom, as I saw the drill rush power was very good on Brome. And with my friend getting echoes that paired with this too, this was probably the strongest run we had the whole playthrough. With the final boss vanquished, not much remains, but we decided to do at least one more session next time to check out a couple more things. Session 8, an anticlimactic end, but the takeaway is still there. I came out of this last session feeling like our time is done with Absolum. The first run completed a few more achievements, and the second one was largely pointless after failing to find the last couple bosses to take on. But I am very grateful to have a roguelite click with me finally. Here are some of my main takeaways on what I need for the genre to work for me. 1. Having the same map run to run. I know this seems counterintuitive, but one of the biggest things that worked for me in this game is consistent levels that changed and expanded each run rather than randomly generated rooms. 2. Cooperation. I think playing with a friend is significantly better when it comes to this genre for me. The losses are a lot lighter when there's laughs and riffs in between, and especially with a beat 'em up crossover, I can't imagine playing this game solo personally. And 3. Story is crucial. If I don't feel connected with what's happening from a story side, it's really hard to feel like roguelike gameplay matters, even if it's well designed. That's my journey with Absolum from start to finish, and if you like this kind of format, let me know down below.